Shalom, Shlama, peace and blessings from Maria Alaha, or God, and Maria Yoshua Mashiach, or Jesus the Messiah. We are the Ministry of the Real Truth, and coming to you from down under in a lovely country called New Zealand. Come visit us sometime in the summertime, because at the moment it's midwinter and it's terribly freezing, right? I've got blue toes, not to mention other blue objects, because it's so freaking cold here. But I've got a little warm gear on. Anyway, this video today is a short review on an English Bible translation you may have heard of, called The Message by Eugene H. Peterson. I haven't read it fully. I haven't even read the introduction yet, but I've just been browsing through it, and I'm quite impressed with James 3 to 4. Okay, it has the chapter numbers, but it doesn't have the verse numbers, but that's not really a problem. Okay, it really gave me deeper insight, okay, in regards to James 4, 3 and 4. So I'm going to read from James 4, page 571, from Eugene H. Peterson's The Message, because I got some really good insight from this. And this is the reason why your prayers don't get answered. This is what this video is all about. Get serious. Where do you think all these appalling wars and quarrels come from? I have a second opinion on that. Yeah, but we'll deal with this one first. Where do you think all these appalling wars and quarrels come from? Do you think they just happen? Think again. They come about because you want your own way and fight for it deep inside yourselves. You lust for what you don't have and are willing to kill to get it. You want what isn't yours and will risk violence to get your hands on it. You wouldn't think of just asking God for it, would you? And why not? Because you know you'd be asking for what you have no right to. You're spoiled children, each wanting your own way. You're cheating on God. If all you want is your own way, flirting with the world every chance you get, you end up enemies of God and His way. And do you suppose God doesn't care? The proverb has it that He's a fiercely jealous lover, and what He gives in love is far better than anything else you'll find. It's common knowledge that God goes against the willful proud. God gives grace to the willing humble. Okay, so that's why your prayers aren't answered, because you're asking for something you don't really need or you don't really want. Okay, it's not right for you, it's not befitting to you in the mind of God, right? Okay, and you've got like some sort of motive, hidden motive or agenda, because you want to satisfy your own lusts, right? So say for example there's someone you're really obsessed with and you really want to get with them. Okay, you know what I'm talking about, and it never happens, and you fantasize, you have vain imaginings, all that sort of stuff. It never happens. It's because as a believer, you know, okay, you're not supposed to be chasing after those things, lusting after those things, or that person like that, right? So yeah, you might pray about it and say, oh, I really want, you know, this, or really want that, or really want that person, I wish I could get with that person. It never happens, because it's not His will for you. Okay, He knows you don't really need it, you don't really want it, it's just a hindrance, right? So stop that, you know, because you're never going to get it, because it's not right for you. You're not meant to have it. You just, you know, got this lust that you have to have it. You have to have it. You have to have it your way, right? Etc. Etc. So yeah, that's a pretty good deep insight into why your prayers don't get answered often. Okay, because you're desiring something that you don't really need. It's not befitting to you, and so forth. Okay, so that's pretty good deep insight through the message. But I'd say be very, very careful. I enjoyed that. As I said, gave me deeper insight to why prayers don't get answered. You just take this with like any modern version translated into English. Just be very, very careful. Okay, because sometimes they add their own prejudice, bias, flavour, and twist to it. Okay, and totally mess things up. So yeah, that's the first reason that I found why you don't get your prayers answered, right? And in answer to all those squabbles and quarrels and wars and stuff that goes on, from the Aramaic New Testament, Translator's Note, page 4, he says, the American missionaries of the 19th century attempted to translate the original scriptures, into modern Aramaic, Syriac. Well, what they tried to do is they tried to translate the King James version that they were reading from, that they were using when they went into Urmia, into that Syriac, modern Syriac, which is a derivative of the ancient Aramaic, right? And they botched it. Yeah? They messed it up. Yeah, here it is here. The American missionaries of the 19th century attempted to translate the scriptures into modern Aramaic, Syriac, but botched it, as they adapted it to the King James version in use by them at the time. The Urmia, North Iran, version of the Bible is essentially the American Bible translated into modern Aramaic. By the way, the American missionaries have translated all the Bibles of all the countries of the world from the American Bible. Okay, so it's all your versions, probably excepting the old 1611 King James Bible, and probably the Textus Receptus and a couple other ones, have all come from this one source, this one root. Okay. The American missionaries have translated all the Bibles of the countries of the world from the American Bible. That is why all the Bibles thus translated contain the same errors in translation and pseudo, that's half pie Christian doctrines, right? Or assumed Christianity, or anonymous, or it's a different form of Christianity from the original. Doctrines that have caused so much misery in the world for 200 years. Okay? And take note of this. The earlier plagiarized versions of the Bible were the Greek original and the Latin Vulgate. These versions were translated by Martin Luther, William Tyndale, and other Protestant translators over the last 5 centuries from the Greek script Septuagint and the Greek original, the Greek New Testament translation from the Aramaic. These then were further translated by the American translators until we have the situation today with all these versions of the Bible and thousands of denominations, each with their own individual interpretations. So he states the Disciples' New Testament, or the Aramaic New Testament, translated by Victor N. Alexander, is then the only accurate and non-prejudicial translation of the original New Testament scriptures by a native Aramaic speaking translator. He's from Bet Naharain in Mesopotamia, and he speaks the modern vernacular of Aramaic, but he's also found a way to revive the old ancient original Aramaic, which it's stated is dead, but in the East there are some older people that can still speak that old language. They just can't translate it for you into English, as I stated in other videos. So he's found a way to resurrect it and translate those original scriptures from that original old tongue, ancient Aramaic, Asherit, into English. Okay, as close to what those ancient scriptures actually said and the equivalent in English. So yeah, I would be very careful of these modern translations, these modern versions, as I just stated, where they're all coming from, right? Their root, their source, okay, from one source, and supposedly full of error, contradiction, corrupted, all that sort of stuff. I'll leave a link to the video of this Brian guy that explains it. I can't stress it, enough that you got to be really, really careful, because once you recognise where that source is coming from, it's verified by this guy Brian, and it's also verified by this guy who got hold of the original manuscripts from the original Church of the East, founded by the original disciple Thomas, and translated it faithfully into English. Okay, if you compare the two, say this modern version with this modern version of an ancient manuscript, okay, put it that way, then you'll see that there's vast differences both in the Old Testament Kitab Asherit in English and the Aramaic Galilean or Galilean New Testament in English. Okay, compare the two, right? because you'll be going out there saying, oh, this is what Jesus said, or Christ said, whatever, la 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 la. When all the time he actually didn't say that, because you've got a modern, Americanized, modern version, a copy of copies of copies of copy of copies, right? Incorrectly translated. Okay, so this is the Ministry of the Real Truth coming at you from down under, a lovely place called New Zealand. Come visit us in the summertime. You'll really like it. It's really beautiful. Don't come in midwinter because your toes will turn blue. It's so freaking cold at the moment. I think we're in midwinter. And you don't get us confused with Australia. They're the cousins across from us. Okay. Yeah, if you like this little video, then subscribe where that button is. Give us a like, a couple of thumbs up, and add your comments, and you go tell all your friends, I found people that are actually telling the truth. The Ministry of the Real Truth, right? All these other ones, yeah, I thought they were dodgy. So let's go have a look at this guy, subscribe to this guy, and set the bell so we don't miss out on any of his videos, because we really want to know the truth. Okay, we'll catch you later. Bye.